Yuki and John, Patreon Bay.
Hello, Yuki.
Hello, John.
How you doing today, man?
Very good. Very good.
You know what today is?
No.
Well, okay, so I'm looking at the calendar of when we're going to release this, and it's actually Juneteenth.
It's still May, though.
Well, we're recording in May, but we're going to
Okay.
release this episode on, because we release our episodes every single Monday.
Oh.
And sometimes I look to see if we could do like a themed
I see.
episode to coincide with whatever's coming up. And Juneteenth is on Monday, June 19th. So I
I
figured
see.
what we could do here in order to celebrate that day and to shine a light on it
Right.
and deflect away from our idiocy
Yeah.
is to talk about Juneteenth,
Okay.
see what it is, and then talk about our favorite black artists
Yes.
and black musicians and
Yes.
black, anything black, that
yeah.
we love. We could talk about black.
Okay.
What do you think about that? Are you okay with this?
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
All right, good. Because some people might say that what we're doing here is, it's not right or whatever. But we actually genuinely want to celebrate the day because it would feel weird to put out an episode about, I don't know, cakes on Juneteenth and just ignore the fact that it's Juneteenth.
Right.
Why would we do that? We want to bring light to the holiday, just like if Cinco de Mayo fell on a Monday, we would
Right,
do
you
that.
see, because we don't have to be Mexican to talk about the Cinco de Mayo.
Right.
Right? So we don't have to be black to talk about the black
Right,
thing.
and
yeah.
a part of Juneteenth is all about talking about black culture and shining light on that
Right.
and deflecting from your personal experiences and saying what the day's about
Yeah.
and how we can support black culture.
Right.
So in all earnest honesty, we want to do this just because if we didn't do it on this day, it would feel weird,
Right.
weirder than if we actually do.
Yes.
So if anybody's going to come at us for being Asian and white and doing this, whatever, screw you. What are
Yeah,
you doing for
screw you,
Juneteenth?
yeah.
You're just probably celebrating the fact that you get a day off, you fucking asshole.
That's the beauty of, we have many cultures and
Exactly. America we have so much diversity
Right.
here. In fact, we're in Queens, which people say is the most diverse place on Earth, possibly. We have so many different
Right.
cultures and races and all sorts of things living in this
Yeah.
Queens County.
see, so I think it's understanding, appreciation the other culture.
Right.
So it's really nothing to do with racist or
Right, like what I mean, sometimes curiosity is
Yeah.
is how humans get to know each other, and we sort of learn about. Like you and I on this podcast, I ask you all about Japanese culture,
Right.
and even though you've lived in America longer than you have in
Right.
Japan, you always reveal things that I didn't know about Japan,
Yeah.
and it's just very interesting
Right.
to learn. And then I bring up things that happened in America that you didn't know, and all sorts of stuff, right?
It's a learning process. It's part of how we live.
It's how we live. It's how we communicate. It's how we
Yeah,
think. So
right.
we're going to devote our energy today to Juneteenth to
Right.
learn all about what it means, what it is, and then to celebrate
Right.
our heroes in the black community.
Learning, yeah.
Learning. That's what we're doing here today. Sometimes this podcast isn't all about food. Sometimes this podcast is educational.
Yes.
All right, so let's get into it. I have up here the Boys and Girls Club of America, their website, right? And they have a thing that says, "What is Juneteenth?" Information for kids and families. Now, just because we're pretty stupid, but we're not that stupid. We're in the middle. We always say that, right?
Right.
We're like right up the middle. We're
Right.
moderately
Normal,
stupid.
right?
Yeah, we're normal human beings. We're not geniuses. We're not stupid.
Right.
So we're going to learn what it would be like for a kid to learn about Juneteenth. So here we go. It says, what is Juneteenth?
Yeah, what is it? I don't even know.
Well, here we go. In
Okay.
1863, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which declared a formal end to slavery in the United States.
Wait, so that's middle of the Civil War then, 1863.
But however, change was not instant after the proclamation. So nearly 2.5 years later, on June 19th, 1865,
Okay.
the enslaved African Americans of Galveston, Texas, got the news by way of the Union Army troops that freedom had come at last. So 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, the Civil War continued on. So slavery didn't end on the day of the Emancipation Proclamation. That was the day that it was proclaimed, we're going to end this thing. So then the next year, the people of Galveston commemorated the day that they learned that slavery was over And that day was Juneteenth. It was a celebration of freedom. And since then, it's been observed in communities and states as a holiday,
Right.
but was officially recognized as a federal holiday in 2021. Now, why is the holiday called Juneteenth? The name blends the month and the day the news reached the people of Galveston. June plus 19th equals Juneteenth. And it's also cited as a day that's named Emancipation Day or Freedom Day.
They mix the two words.
They mix the two words and put it together. So, that's basically what the history of Juneteenth is. And then over the years, they said, Texas, over there, they celebrated it for a very long time. And now it's taken so long to grow until now it's a national holiday. It's a nationally recognized holiday.
Oh.
How do you celebrate Juneteenth? Juneteenth isn't just about celebrating a day or a single historical event, this says. It's a celebration of freedom, resilience, community, and the possibilities of good things to come.
Right.
So, and this is saying there's a bunch of ways that you can celebrate Juneteenth. One way we're going to celebrate it, we're going to talk about our favorite black artists, black filmmakers, and all sorts of stuff. So who's the first one that pops to mind?
Well, earlier we talked about it, the TV Roots.
Roots, the miniseries Roots.
Miniseries, so it always comes to my mind, the Roots. And then Civil War.
The Ken Burns Civil War?
Ken
the documentary?
Burns, and then Gone with the Wind. So,
let's say this up front is that there was a little problems with Gone with the Wind in the past few years. You didn't hear all about the people who didn't really like the depiction of that role, and that now in order to show it on TCM, they have to have sort of a forewarning. And then also the woman who was nominated for the Oscar, I forgot her name.
Hattie McDaniel?
Yes. So she wasn't even allowed to go to the Oscars at that point, that she was barred from the Oscars because of the color of her skin.
Right, but she was the first woman to win the Oscar.
Which is historical, absolutely. Yeah. But while she was the first woman to win the Oscar, she was also completely locked out of the Oscars because of racism. The whole point of this is that we, for instance, the first black artist that comes to mind that influenced my life in a humongously major way from when I was a kid was Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is probably, to me, the greatest comedian who ever lived. I think that the stuff that he did from the time that he was on Saturday Night Live up until the early 90s is some of the greatest art, in my opinion, in the comedy world ever made. You have Eddie Murphy's Delirious. You have Eddie Murphy Raw. You have 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop. All these fucking fantastic movies and entertainment. And as a kid, I didn't sit there going, Eddie Murphy's black. I said Eddie Murphy's funny.
Okay, well, I mean, I know Eddie Murphy. I mean, I watched it, but there was what was that before Eddie Murphy?
Richard Pryor?
Richard Pryor.
Yeah. One of the funniest people.
And even that before Richard Pryor was the other one.
Red Fox?
No, not Red Fox. The one of the Rat Pack.
Oh, Sammy Davis Jr.
Sammy Davis Jr., right?
Yeah.
So, Eddie Murphy isn't really a first one.
No. I'm not saying first. I mean, for me personally in my life, as a kid, I probably watched Eddie Murphy Delirious 100 times. Easy. And I kept trying to introduce it to people. Anybody that I would meet, have you seen Eddie Murphy Delirious? It's one of the funniest stand-up sets ever committed to film.
I think it's a new generation Eddie Murphy. That's because he came out from
in the time.
Saturday Night Live.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's totally. But I mean, of course, before Eddie Murphy, there was
there was so many. I mean, come on, what's some artists? Red Fox. One of the funniest things I ever heard was I think Pat Morita. You remember Pat Morita? Pat Morita's Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
And he was talking about Red Fox, and he said one of the funniest things he ever saw live was this guy when at a Red Fox show was heckling Red Fox, and the guy was really big and jacked and was going to beat up Red Fox, and Red Fox diffused the situation that he said, I don't care how big you are, you gotta wipe your ass. That's fucking crazy. So that's some funny shit, you know what I mean? So, come on, what are some of the artists that you think are incredible?
Well, for my generation, probably always Sidney Poitier.
Sidney Poitier, man. There's some of his movies are just beyond good. I mean, what's the one, Shades of Blue, I think it's called?
Shades of Blue,
where he meets
I think
the blind woman. We talked about this a little bit.
Yeah,
In the Heat of the Night, To Serve with Love.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a bad motherfucker.
What was it? The mental hospital thing.
I know what you're talking about. I can't name the movie right off the top of my head.
Shock Corridor?
Well, Shock Corridor's that's not Sidney Poitier, though. That's Samuel Fuller.
Oh.
But there's a scene in Shock Corridor that predates the Chappelle Show about the black guy who thinks he's a Ku Klux Klansman. And it's really powerful stuff. Who else? Stevie Wonder?
Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles?
Harry Belafonte.
Yeah, Harry Belafonte. But there was nothing like that, Ray Charles or Stevie Wonder.
Yeah. I mean, look, imagine being born an African-American man at that time and then blind.
Maybe that's a good thing because there's no color for blind people.
I'm sure he learned pretty quickly by hearing the racial slurs being thrown at him, what the division was. But I don't know. It's like, yes, that oh my god, imagine the fact that some of the greatest music ever made was made by a blind guy.
Yeah,
because his senses were so.
But if you talk about it, like the Beethoven.
Yeah,
he was deaf.
He went deaf. Yeah.
So. Yes, for some people, handicap doesn't mean shit. But I mean,
yeah, you can overcome a handicap.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you kind of came up in the 70s and you moved to America in the 70s,
right?
Do you remember the blaxploitation movement? Did you used to go and see those movies in the theater?
Those, and then I read because I read The Roots. I read there was a movie too. The book called Mandingo. Mandingo. And then the Roots, they say the Mandinka. And then what it is just like the dog breeding. They want to keep the blood and pure. So, same family keeps making a kid. So, blood is always, bloodline is pure.
Yeah.
That's how screw up is.
Yeah.
Because, your mother, the mother, son, father, daughter making a kid
Inbred.
Because they didn't want to mix the race. So they want to keep Mandingo tribe pure. So that's what they did. The book is that's about. And then there was a movie called The Mandingo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also, it's not the part 2 sequel, but there's another book called Drum.
Drum?
Drum. And then Ken Norton played the drum. It's another slavery movie.
Whoa.
So
you know there's a porn star named Mandingo?
No.
Yeah, he's named Mandingo. He's got one of the biggest penises on the face of the earth. I mean, that's huge.
I thought the biggest one is like Harry Reeves.
Who's Harry Reeves?
Harry Reeves or Harry Reeves?
Is that the guy who played Superman back in the day?
No, that's Steve Reeves.
Oh, Steve Reeves. Oh.
But Harry Reeves was that was a movie. You remember he got killed and then Hollywood drowned.
Oh, I thought that was
John Holmes.
John Holmes.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Mandingo. I mean, I haven't measured, but I'm pretty sure Mandingo wins.
Yeah, Mandingo. Because they have a big.
Huge.
So it's whole about a huge, African tribe.
Yeah.
So there was a book, and then there's a movie. And then another one, the Drum, they both book and the movie.
You know who was in Roots? LeVar Burton.
Yeah,
LeVar Burton. Let me tell you the truth. So when I was a kid, Reading Rainbow, that was one of my favorite shows, and he hosted Reading Rainbow.
Oh.
And every time it was over, I would cry.
Really?
The song would make me cry. Butterfly in the sky.
That was a TV show, right?
Yeah, Reading Rainbow.
Did he win the Emmy for that?
Oh, I'm sure he won all sorts of stuff. And I just would cry because I loved that show so much, and I thought he was the greatest host. And then later on, he was in Star Trek.
That's right. The
Geordie. He had the visors.
What's visor
guy? Yeah. What about Aretha Franklin? What a voice!
Aretha Franklin, yes.
Jesus Christ.
Lena Horne.
Oh yeah. I had a dream. I just reminded myself. I had a dream once where I was in a bar and Aretha Franklin was playing the piano, and the whole bar stopped and started listening to her play, and she was playing that song "Do Right Woman, Do Right Man." You know that song?
No.
If you wanna do right all day, woman, you gotta have a do right all day, man. But everybody in the bar sang with her.
Oh.
And it was fucking one of the greatest dreams I've had. I just remembered that dream because we're talking about Aretha Franklin. That's amazing. Oh my God, Yuki. It's good. What about did you ever see like I don't know, like the Dolomite movies in the theaters and stuff like that? Like the Rudy Ray Moore, any of that stuff?
No, but my time at the 70s was besides Sidonie Poitier, it was always Shaft.
Shaft. He had like three, right? Oh, Superfly is a great movie too. But Shaft, he had Shaft something else, and then Shaft in Africa. So there's like three or four of those, right? And
then they made a TV movie too.
Oh, really? They made a TV movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. What about Bone? You ever see Bone? It's a movie written by Larry Cohen, but starring Yaphet Kotto, the guy who later on went on to be an Alien. Bone is a great movie.
Really?
Everybody look up Bone.
Okay.
Yeah, he comes into like a rich neighborhood and he like starts to, just mess up the world. It's very good.
Well, 70, that was before Denzel, right? Probably.
Yeah, Denzel probably started coming up in 80s. But you worked with Denzel for a minute.
Right, at the theater.
At your theater, you worked with Denzel, and who was the other guy?
Paul Winfield.
Paul Winfield. Oh my God, what a great actor, Paul Winfield. Yeah, both of those guys. Imagine being on. I can't imagine you being there, being able to witness that live all the time. Right?
I know, I was lucky then. Yeah.
Oh my God. What about Janet Jackson?
Oh yeah, well we talked about the John commercial.
Yeah, she did. But some of her music, I got to be honest, I think is just as good as Michael Jackson. Because, I mean, come on, The Pleasure Principle and Control and Nasty Boys.
And then, what was it? Escalade?
Escapade. We'll have a good time. Yeah. Oh, I love that shit, man. And the Rhythm Nation, 1840s, she's dancing around like a motherfucker.
I saw her concert in Forum.
Oh, really?
That's what Paul Abdul and then Janet Jackson got connected.
Oh, that's how they got connected and they started doing the thing. What about one of my favorite records is Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. You ever hear that record? Where it's they do like the duets and stuff. Is like the way you wear your hat, the way you sip your tea, the memory of all that. You can't take that away. Look that up. Ella and Louis. You might like it. It's like so relaxing and calming, and we had that voice. It's just a great fucking singular record that nobody's ever really reached the heights of, in my opinion.
Well, then from 70 was Donna Summer. Yeah.
Oh, Donna Summers! I can't even get you started on Donna Summers. Yeah. You used to love Donna Summers. I mean, you still do.
Yeah.
But you saw her in concert multiple times.
Oh yeah. Well, every time I was, I don't know. I don't know how many times I went there. I got a couple of times in the Universal Amphitheater.
Oh, you saw it at the Universal Amphitheater?
Yeah, and then a couple of times in Radio City Music Hall. And
I saw George Clinton in the Parliament Funkadelic maybe 5 or 6 times.
Oh.
And, oh my God, when I tell you that this is a religious experience, they have like 20 people on stage. Some of them aren't even playing an instrument. They're just there dancing and singing. It's like a carnival. It's amazing. You ever see that guy?
No.
He's the guy who wears like those big hats and the glasses and the multicolored braids and dreads in his hair and stuff. And he plays, the funk, like tear the roof off the mother sucker, tear the roof off the sucker. You remember that?
No.
Come on, you got to remember some of this stuff. What do you think of James Earl Jones?
Maybe because he's a Darth Vader. So huge as a bad guy, as a Darth Vader. So I think he was beyond everything.
It transcends space and time.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, like Shakespeare or something. It's like beyond this human realm. There's something in another universe.
Right, because if you're talking about the Darth Vader dark side,
The dark side of the Force.
Yeah.
Luke, I am your father. You know, in that, you know what's funny? I didn't realize he doesn't say Luke. He doesn't say Luke. No, in Empire Strikes Back, he says, he goes, no, that's impossible. He goes, I am your father.
I thought he said Luke.
No.
I am your father.
No. He doesn't say Luke, I am your father. He just says, no, I am your father. Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
He could be bluffing then.
Well, I think Yoda in the next one, he says it's true. So we got to believe Yoda, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we got to believe Yoda. But yeah, that's a fallacy. Is like a lot of people. I don't know where that Luke, I am your father thing came from, but the truth is, the line isn't that. It's just no, I am your father, not Luke, I am your father. Yeah, and I might even be getting it wrong too. It might be like Yuki, I am your father.
Well, I have to see it again then.
Yeah. It's like the 40th anniversary of the Return of the Jedi.
Oh.
Yeah. Lando Calrissian. How about Billy D. Williams?
He doesn't
do it for you?
No. I mean, I think again, when you talk about the racism and then civil rights, you don't think about him.
Well, but he was the only black man in the Star Wars galaxy for a very long time, so I think he paved the way for a lot of people. I mean, you know, now there's the other guys in there, and this is starting to be a touchy subject because we're supposed to be celebrating black culture, and you're saying they didn't fight for civil rights, but maybe they did. We don't know. I mean, some of them might have done it behind the scenes.
But then if you say so, there's no Asian until Rose came in.
Oh, like, that's true. Is that true? Was she the first Asian in Star Wars?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, really?
Well, then there's no Mexican.
Is that true?
Jimmy Smith he's a Mexican, right?
So he was in the prequels. So there wasn't in the first.
So one black, one Asian, one Mexican. Entire 9 Star Wars movie, only 3 minorities.
Well, I saw a meme the other day, not to get too off topic, but it said the villains of the prequel trilogy, and it showed Darth Maul, Darth Sidious, and Count Dooku. Then it said the villains of the original trilogy. It had Peter Cushing, Darth Vader, the Emperor, and then the villains of the sequel trilogy. It had J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, and Kathleen Kennedy. Because they fucked it up.
Right, they fucked it up, yeah.
They totally fucked up Star Wars. I hate that shit, man. But back to Juneteenth. Do you remember like jamming to BET ever? Did you ever watch BET?
No.
Oh. Man, Yuki, we're more racist than I thought. This is. I wanted to like celebrate, and now we're just revealing how fucked up we actually are.
Well, that's what we're learning, right? Juneteenth, I didn't know about 3 hours ago.
You didn't know,
no.
And that's strange because what I think is like it became a federal holiday in 2021.
That's 2 years ago.
That's only 2 years ago. But how, if it's a federal holiday, how is there not more information about it for like the general public? How do we not really know? I mean, I knew what it was because I looked it up, but I wasn't seeing like information flying off on Twitter saying this is what it's all about. This is why it's happening. This is I had to kind of go digging for it, which is a little odd to me.
Wow.
I mean, although I still don't really know what certain other holiday, like why Arbor Day, like what do we do? What are we supposed to do on Arbor Day? Are we supposed to look at the trees, smell the trees, kiss the trees, save the trees, or is it just a celebration of trees? I really don't know. So I don't know. I mean, some of these holidays aren't explained, but that's why I wanted to sort of talk about this one to let people know exactly what it's about. To come together with you and me, who are two like really oddball guys, and just be like regular people and discuss it.
That another excuse to eat and drink.
I mean, maybe that's that. Look, that's what Veterans Day was, or not Veterans Day, like Memorial Day. And all of a sudden, it's become just a barbecue weekend, and nobody thinks about which is also kind of weird. So, I don't know. I think if we personally try to celebrate in a small part what each of these holidays are actually for, I think the world would be slightly better because we just use them as excuses to fuck off and celebrate and party, which is fine. That's fine. We could do that, but we should also somehow reflect and think about these things just to educate ourselves and to know more about why we're honoring this stuff, right? I didn't know what the fuck, what's 4th of July?
Yeah, well, that's the Independence Day, right?
Yeah, I know the movie, with the aliens and stuff, but why are we doing it? Is it because we remember the original, the sequel?
We beat the British and
that's
became
what it's about.
independent.
No,
right?
I knew what it was about. I'm busting your balls. I'm quizzing you by being stupid. So, what's some other holidays that we love? I mean,
Thanksgiving is a good.
Thanksgiving's a great holiday. Yeah,
Many people just eat and drink, right? They don't know exactly what the Thanksgiving is. No.
Nobody. I mean, nobody knows what half the holidays are for. I don't know.
It's about pilgrim.
The pilgrims gave the blanket to the Native Americans that gave them smallpox. So that's what it's all about. See, there's always a dark side to a lot of holidays, and then there's always like the good side to the holidays. So I guess the reason why people celebrate and party on the days is so that they forget the dark side of the holidays, right? Because like Easter, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty brutal holiday. They said that they hung him to the cross and all that stuff, and to think that that's like something that you're supposed to be celebrating and reflecting.
Yeah, there's nothing to celebrate. You torture.
Although Good Friday is when he was hung to the cross.
Okay.
Then Easter Sunday is when he rose from the dead.
He comes back.
Yeah. So.
But if if you're Christian, doesn't mean shit.
It gets you probably the week off. It gives you spring break.
Yeah.
That's when all the girls go wild in Florida.
That's right, huh?
So that's strange. It's like a strange dichotomy of whatever. But
it's all an excuse to do something, to have fun, eat, drink, or, have party.
That's what a lot of these holidays become. Yeah, it all becomes an excuse to party. I guess there's a good thing to that. I mean, I've done my fair share of partying on holidays. But now that I'm getting a little older, I like to sort of know why. So with Juneteenth, that's so interesting that it took 2.5 years to get to the place, and then they celebrate it. I mean, I think everybody should celebrate it because slavery in and of itself is fucking garbage. Imagine being a slave.
But still, the racism still exists.
Oh, it exists everywhere you go. I mean, it's everywhere you look. Everywhere you look, everywhere there's racism. And somebody who need you. Yeah, everywhere you go. I mean, it's a strange thing, but
see, because even we are racist too. In Japanese, we are racist.
We? I thought you meant me and you.
No, like when I was coming to America, my mom, she's not racist, but the only thing is, I don't care who you do, whatever you do, just don't marry a black girl.
Whoa! I can't put that on a Juneteenth episode.
But my point is, we are racist without being racist, and I didn't even know about being racist until I come here.
Really?
No, because look, the way I grew up is, after World War II, of course we're defeated, but when I was raising, I grew up with Japanese economy rise.
Yes.
So automatically, we, Japanese, and then rest of the world, that's already racist.
Right. So do you think because America has so many diverse nationalities, religions, all sorts of stuff, is that why racism happens, or is that why slowly we are getting, to work together and live together side by side? I mean, which is which? Did racism happen, or does racism persist because there's so many of us together, or does racism slowly erode because there's so many of us together?
So many different people, because like I said already, Japanese, we're racist. But the reason we're that way, like we and the rest of the world, that's racism, because we are Japanese, you guys are not.
Right.
That's racism, in a way. Because we're one,
it's not nationality?
It's our nationality, because the island, one race, one culture, one language.
One
so
nation
it's
under
one
a groove.
nation. Yeah, so it's automatically we and the rest of the world. So when I came here, like I mentioned in the other episode, my Asian American friend says, "Oh, the waiter, they don't come
because
they don't take
Japanese.
order because we are Asian. That's racist." But I don't think that way. Oh, she doesn't take order because she's a bad waitress. Don't give her tip. So automatically, from day one, we have a different thinking, and then my thinking is always, Japanese and rest of the world. So, if you are Mexican or Native American or black, you might think, oh, white, and then we are minority. See, I don't have that. Me, Japanese, I'm majority. You white, minority. See, it's automatically, I think that way because you're not Japanese.
Right, so that's like a different style of racism.
Right, but that's racist without being racist, just like my mom said.
Right.
Don't get married with a black girl. She said it because it's not a black or white. That's because she's not the Japanese. You
right,
see?
she wanted you to settle down with a Japanese person.
So, but again, if you say that, and in this country, oh, she's racist. See, so we're many Japanese, we're racist without even trying to be racist.
I see.
And then just generally speaking, automatically we don't like Chinese and Korean, right? Because, hey, we were the best in Asia. So we look down Chinese people and then Korean people.
Oh.
That's racist. Yeah, like
sure.
That's racism. But we don't think that way. We just think we're Japanese, top of the world.
Yeah.
Not to be a racist, but rest of the world, that thinking is a racist.
The rest of the world, that thinking is racist. Of course. Yeah. I mean,
because,
how do we solve it, Yuki? How do we solve racism? Can we?
I don't know. I mean, just the ongoing thing, this racism, as long as we have a different race, the Japanese, Asian, and, Caucasian, and then white or black or, Hispanic, and then as long as we have a divided and then different race, the racist always exists.
But is there a way, like, okay, some people would say just the very fact that we're even talking about this and we're not black,
Right.
that we may be racist because we could never understand the concept of what it means to be a black person in America. And even though we're not speaking to right now necessarily a black person, we're speaking to each other to try and figure out what it's all about, right? And how we can sort of do better.
Yeah, but it's really sensitive and it's very difficult, honestly, I think, because, okay, if somebody says, Yuki, you play, karate, is that the racist? Or if I ask black people, like, do you play basketball?
Right.
Is that the
so if people ask you, do you know martial arts?
Yeah.
Some people would think that that's a racist question just because you're Japanese or it's just
right,
because
but
you're Asian.
I don't think that's a racist question. It's just a simple question. Just like I asked, Neil Armstrong, did you go to the moon? It's just a simple question.
Yeah, sometimes I think people misconstrue questions based on the evils of the past and things like that.
Because not everybody, black people, or not every Asian people do martial arts or playing basketball. So, unless you ask the person, you don't know he played, martial arts and basketball or not.
Sure.
So nothing wrong with that question. But if you ask, you play basketball to black person, oh, he's racist.
Yuki, do you play basketball? All right, no, that's stupid. I shouldn't even joke. This whole episode should be...
But I'm not good, but I play basketball.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, good. All right.
Well, I play basketball, high school, junior high school, but I quit. But
All right. Well, this is very touchy. I mean,
It is touchy.
I get more nervous the more that we talk about this, only because I think about, I don't want to get into hot water with anybody. I really wanted to do this to think about, like, what the holiday means, what it could be all about. But it always, as always, when you're talking about racism and things like that, it does become a touchy subject, because it's really hard to rectify the idea in your mind that people were brutally tortured and
my I'm from Japan, so it's one race, one language, one culture, and blah blah blah. When I came America, it's fascinating because so many different race and then different language,
right?
Especially in New York, it's like it's like everything,
Yeah.
It's fascinating, so many different culture and language. In a way, good. So, you have more people to meet and then know. But only one thing, it really, it's my opinion. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. But if you come here and then you don't speak English, then, keep talking and then Chinese or Vietnamese, then I have a problem. It's like, okay, you keep your culture, but this is America. If you don't speak English, what's the point then to be here?
In my opinion, they're closing themselves off to the experience of meeting other people who live in America, because the vast majority of people who live here speak English. But in no way has it been dubbed the national language. So it's hard to say.
But it's not official, but it's English is.
It is. So that's more of a thing where it's like you're just making it harder for yourself if you don't speak English. Maybe it's a pride thing, maybe it's a whatever thing. I would never think to have to force somebody to do that, but I would think that they would personally want to learn so that life could be easier.
No, but I got Chinatown, right?
Yeah.
Some really authentic Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
They go, I don't understand Chinese because I say I don't speak Chinese, and then they don't even understand. I say I don't speak Chinese,
right?
So I have to walk out.
And then you just go Chipotle down the block. I mean, everything's okay.
See, that's like annoying me. Like, okay, this is America. You should keep your culture and the language. But if you're doing business in New York and Chinatown, if your customer don't speak Chinese, you speak fucking English. That's my attitude. Is like, so if you
I don't disagree that it would be beneficial to a business owner to...
but then if you forcing us to understand Chinese or other language because you don't speak English, then I feel like, not to be a racist, but go home. It is go home because we don't speak your language. If you live here, you want to do business here, do understand fucking English because that's how we speak. We talk. I speak Japanese, but when I go out, I have no reason to speak Japanese because nobody's understands.
Right.
So I think those some common sense like.
But there should
some
be more common sense.
But some Chinese restaurant like Chinese menu. I say I don't speak Chinese. They don't even understand. I say Chinese.
Well, I hope everybody out there appreciates that the Juneteenth episode turned into a fucking anti-Chinese.
No, I don't mean Chinese, but anything, Mexican or Vietnamese or even Japanese thing, I just use the example as a Chinese.
Right. Just an example.
So no, it's not. This isn't anti-Chinese. No,
No, I know what you mean. It's all about common sense, logic, being logical, and whatever. But again, if the person doesn't want to fucking learn it, they don't have to, and they can just have a hard.
I appreciate the other day they had a Japanese Heritage Parade, and then Puerto Rican parade. we should keep our culture and language.
Yeah.
But that's one thing. But at the same time, you have to understand, English because this is America.
Right.
So then it goes talking about understanding other culture,
right?
Appreciating other culture,
right?
Then goes both ways. Then if you forcing, speak Chinese, don't understand Chinese, then if you don't know this Chinese menu, too fucking bad, then how am I supposed to understand the Chinese culture?
Right.
How am I, appreciate Chinese culture because I don't read Chinese? Again, not the anti-Chinese, I mean, just one example, anything Vietnamese or,
Well, that was our Juneteenth episode. Yuki and John's podcast buffet. So today, if you can, and you have the time, go out and support a black-owned business.
Yes, sir, the black people.
Yeah. Say hello to a black person. I really love.
You should go. The Harlem. Eat the soul food.
There you go. I would love to eat some soul food. Oh my god, I love that shit. Collard greens. You like the collard greens?
And then LA there is no Harlem, but near the Olympic and then Pico, Ethiopia town.
Oh, I ate at an Ethiopian restaurant once, and it's so good. They give you the bread and you soak up the stuff. Oh man, that's some good shit. Yeah, well, do that today because Juneteenth. It's a day to celebrate. It's a day to educate.
It's good.
And it's in exchange for your day off and your day to party or whatever you're going to do. Learn a little bit about it. Support the cause.
Don't be a racist. And
don't be a fucking racist.
Appreciate and then try to learn other culture and then custom and language or the world peace.
World peace. And love and sharing and understanding. And thank you all for going through this experiment with us.
And then again, go Chinatown, eat the Chinese food.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, thank you, and we'll talk to you guys next time on the podcast buffet.
And the Korean town, too.
Oh, my God.
Korean barbecue is good.
Yuki and John, Patreon buffet.